It is hard to believe how much of a complete 180 I've done on Yoshi's Crafted World. I was somewhat like, it's another Yoshi game. Like, again, Woolly World was fine. I was expecting something of the same amount of... No! No! Going by what I've played in the Crafted World demo, I am expecting a masterpiece. Okay, I am not exaggerating when I say that like that one level, that one short intro tutorial level in Yoshi's Crafted World is probably one of the best designed Yoshi game levels I've ever fucking seen in my life. Like, I'm not exaggerating here. Like, I was baffled by how different this game was than Woolly World. I was expecting something that like played exactly like it. No, no, not at all. Crafted World does so much cool shit that is completely different than Woolly World. Like, completely different. Like, this is from the same team, too. This is, like, the main reason I'm so pleasantly surprised by this. Like, amazed by this. Is that they incorporated so many cool aspects into this game. And, like, do such a great job, like, implementing them into this first level. Like, first of all, I think this is the most prominent thing here, is the background in this game. So in most other 2D platformers, you have like backgrounds that are just sort of there, like you just sort of like, walk past them. They're just sort of nice. Like think like Tropical Freeze. Like you have all this stuff going on in the background. It looks gorgeous. It's great. It doesn't do a lot in the gameplay, right? It's not important in the grand scheme of things. It's just sort of there. Crafted World has you go into the background for like sort of along these paths, right? Like it's not technically a 2D game. Like you can technically go up paths and like change direction and do stuff like that, even though it plays exactly like a 2D platformer. It's kind of strange like that, but that's exactly how it works. What this means is that there are these situations where you can walk around in circles around things and like look at things from different angles and this doesn't seem like it would be all that interesting, but there is a very interesting distinction between this game and Whirly World that I really, really want to talk about, is that you have a background shot. Like in other Yoshi games, you can throw the egg from side to side, but usually not towards the background. The exception being towards in the final boss of the original Yoshi's Island. Like this game takes that element from Yoshi's Island, from the iconic final boss fight, like one of my favorite Nintendo final bosses ever, and incorporates it into the general gameplay. So, like, there are occasions where you need to attack things in the foreground, and you can attack all sorts of things that have all sorts of things, like, that could be hidden behind them. Like, you have, like, items, you have, like, collectibles, you have, like, things you need to proceed, like, you can interact with the environment. Like, there's so much potential here, and I was just so impressed by like everything this tutorial level threw at me in regards to that. Like there are so many. Again, it's a very short level. Like I get the impression they didn't really like show you everything they had in store, but there's a section here where you come across this train tracks, right? And you go a little bit further, and you end up having to reassemble this train. So you have to go around like finding all of these train tracks. Like it is a 2D collectathon essentially in that sense. Like it's very much like the original Yoshi's Island. And if you recall, Yoshi's Island is one of my favorite games ever because of the collectathon aspect. Because like it balances like all these amazing level designs with like this completionist scoring system that makes it like an incredible joy to replay and come back to even years later. Like Woolly World is like Crafted World is doing that again. Like Woolly World had like the yarn collectibles, and those were fine. There was nothing wrong with that, but they weren't as good as like what Island was doing. Crafted seems to be improving on that with like having all these different kinds of collectibles, like not just like the traditional like the heart flower system, the red coins. Like those are back. But you also have like these side quests. Like you have this character on the world map who like tells you they want cows. So like you can go into your like into your stage and like find the cows that you didn't need to confront last time. So you have to find these things and like throw your eggs into the background to find them. And it's just going to give the game a ton of replay value with all these collectibles, all these things you need to do. Like it's just going to be, an amazing, amazing experience. It's just like, I was really impressed, like with everything this game threw at me. Like again, major, major improvement over Woolly World. Like again, I really like Woolly World, but at this point, I truly suspect that like Crafted World may be my game of the year. Like I'm honest, like after playing it and seeing like all these like all these stages in like the Nintendo Direct and everything that they're doing with it, like I'm expecting this game to be a masterpiece. Okay, like I love Good Feel in general. Like they've like again, Epic Yarn is great. Wario Land Shaken is one of my favorite games on Wii. Like Woolly World was like I don't want to call it underwhelming because it was pretty good, but it wasn't like a masterpiece like I'm used to expecting from them. Crafted World seemed like it might be that same caliber of greatness that like Shake It was to me. Like I am just getting the same kind of vibe from it, the same sort of like appeal. Um, again, again, I'm really really impressed by all like the minor changes they made. Like for example, you don't do the island method of aiming your egg anymore. You use like the Yoshi story style cursor, which was completely different than Woolly World. Like it's that kind of thing. Like it feels like they completely changed the way the game plays. Like from Woolly World, I cannot believe that this is the same development team. It would have been so easy to play it safe and do the same thing again. Like I would have been personally happy with like just making Woolly World again, like a sequel to that with like better bosses. Like that was my only complaint with Woolly World really is that the bosses weren't very good. Crafted World completely reinvented everything, and it is glorious. I am super impressed with this game. Can't wait for it to come out at the end of March. Like my most anticipated game right now. I cannot wait for this to come out. I want to see this. I want to see it do well. I want to see people talk about it, and I don't know, maybe a port of Woolly World. That line again, people overlooked Woolly World a lot. I think. um, but this game, I think, is going to be the best platformer of 2019. I can't think of anything that's coming out. Mario Maker 2 doesn't really count. That's more like a level creation tool. Like, again, it's not the same kind of thing. Yeah. In between this and Mario Maker 2, Switch has completely dominated the first half of 2019. Okay, those games are going to keep me busy for months. Mario Maker probably going to keep me busy for years, forever, essentially. Like love these games. Can't wait to see more. Like Crafted World is great. I cannot wait to see what Nintendo delivers on with the final product.